Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Background. Good evening, everyone. It is now 6 p.m. on Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. I'd like to welcome you all to Richland County Council's special call meeting. This meeting will now come to order. Madam Clerk, take the roll, please.
Branham. Pugh.
Here.
McBride. Here. Livingston.
Here.
Terratio. Weaver.
Here.
Barron.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Mackey.
Here.
English. Newton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Record reflect that Councilwoman Terratio, along with Councilwoman Cheryl English, who has not announced her presence yet, will be attending tonight's meeting virtually. They both had medical emergencies come up this evening, but our rules allow for virtual participation, when there is a valid reason. So they will be attending virtually this evening. Also, Councilman Branham will not be in attendance in person or virtually this evening, that he is away on business. Next item on the agenda, personal business that is. Next item on the agenda is the invocation, which will be given by the Honorable Don Weaver. Councilman Weaver, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Dear Lord, we give thanks for this joyful holiday when we can celebrate our Savior and his love for us. Don't let us miss you this Christmas season and all our busyness. Help us to simplify our activities and traditions so we can focus our celebration on the birth of Jesus. Let us share in the song of the angels, the gladness of the shepherds, and the worship of the wise men. Let kindness come with every gift and every greeting. Teach us to be merry with clear hearts. Thank you for being the Prince of Peace and the King of Kings. Whether we celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, thank you for your simple but life-changing message of your love for us. Amen. Now let us pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, I just received a message from Ms. English. She says she is trying to log in to the meeting or get into the meeting, and she's having some challenges. Next item on the agenda is item 4, approval of the minutes. Any changes, deletions, additions, or amendments to the minutes from the December 5th, 2023 meeting? All right, entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Pugh.
Yes.
McBride. Yes. Livingston.
Yes.
Terratio.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
English. Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item on the agenda is item 5, presentation of proclamations. And it's item 5A, a proclamation recognizing Ms. Rachel Forbear as the 2023 Health Education Professional of the Year. That would be given by the Honorable Shakese Newton. Ms. Newton, you're recognized, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. Minutes were approved?
No.
There.
Agenda wasn't approved. We haven't done that.
Okay.
yet. We did the minutes. We're ready to, we're good.
Okay, that's okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Whereas it is with great honor and admiration that we recognize individuals who have demonstrated exceptional dedication and passion in their field, Rachel Forbear, a distinguished educator, has exhibited unwavering commitment to the advancement of health education, enriching the lives of students and teachers alike. And whereas for 17 years, Rachel Forbear has selflessly shared her wealth of experience, boundless passion, and profound expertise in health education with students and educators, and whereas Rachel Forbear has served as a health education professional at Lower Richland High School in Richland County District 1, where she held the positions of school wellness leader, physical education department chair, and lead health PE teacher for Richland 1, and whereas Ms. Forbear has been an invaluable asset to the South Carolina education system, serving as a South Carolina Teacher Standards 4.0 evaluator and a mentor for the South Carolina Center for Educator Recruitment, Retention, and Advancement, whereas her outstanding contributions have been acknowledged by her peers, earning her the titles of the 2010 Lower Richland High School Teacher of the Year and the 2019 Newberry College Hall of Master Teachers inductee, and whereas the South Carolina Association for the Advancement of Health Education, SCAAHE, has rightly acknowledged Ms. Forbear's exceptional contributions, naming her the 2023 Health Education Professional of the Year, now therefore be it proclaimed that Richland County Councilwoman Shakese Newton hereby recognizes Rachel Forbear for her tireless dedication, exemplary leadership, and profound impact on health education in Richland County, South Carolina.
Ms. Forbear, if you would please feel free to come down and have a photo op with Ms. Newton over there near the county seal, and afterwards you can take to the podium there and address the council if you wish.
Thank you, everyone. It has been such an honor to serve as health education teacher for 17 years at Lower Richland. It was my first job straight out of college, so I am still here today. And I just look forward to so many great things in Richland 1 with health education and physical education in the future. Thank you.
And Ms. Forbear, I know this is Ms. Newton's proclamation, but I would be remiss if I did not mention that yours truly is a graduate of Lower Richland High School, class of 1998, and Diamond support other Diamonds. So, next item on the agenda is item 6, adoption of the agenda. Any changes, additions, or amendments to the agenda? You recognize Ms. McBride. I did, honestly, yes, I wanted to.
Item 21, page 7. Just the typo for FY '24, it should be District 3 rather than District 2.
noted, thank you. I picked up on that as well while I was reviewing the agenda. All right. Any other amendments or changes to the agenda? All right, there being none, I'll entertain a motion to to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
It's moved to properly second. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride. Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
This item on the agenda is item 7, report of the county attorney for executive session items. Mr. Wright, you recognize, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chair. There are two matters for executive session. First one is the 2023-2024 County Administrator and Clerk to Council Performance Evaluation pursuant to SE Code 30-4-70, subsection A1. And second one is Personnel Matter Compensation Plan, also pursuant to SE Code 30-4-70, A1.
And none of these items involve outside counsel, right?
That's correct.
So we'll take them up later in the meeting, Mr. Wright. Next item on the agenda is item 8, citizens input. This is for items on the agenda not requiring a public hearing. Madam Vice Chair, anyone sign up to speak?
No, Mr. Chair.
Next item on the agenda is item 9, citizens input. Must pertain to Richland County matters not on the agenda. Items for which a public hearing is required or a public hearing has been scheduled cannot be addressed at this time. Madam Vice Chair, anyone sign up to speak?
No, Mr. Chair.
Next item on the agenda is item 10, report of the county administrator. Mr. Brown, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, there is no report tonight from the county administrator.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 11, report of the clerk of council. Ms. Mackey, I'm on a roll.
I'm not gonna stop you. Go ahead.
Madam Clerk, you're recognized.
There are no reports at this time. Thank you, Chairman.
Next item on the agenda is item 12, report of the chair. There are no updates or announcements from the chair for the body tonight. Next item on the agenda is item 13, approval of consent items. Ms. Newton?
Mr. Chair, move to approve items 13A through 13C.
Second.
Properly second. Those are consent items. No discussion is necessary. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Mr. Chair,
Recognized, Ms. Newton.
move to reconsider items 13A and B.
Second.
Second.
Properly second. Discussion. There be none. Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
No.
McBride,
No.
Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Walker,
No.
Mackey,
No.
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Item on the agenda is item 14, third reading items. 14A, finding that the Richland, Lexington, Riverbanks Parks District may issue not exceeding $80 million principal amount general obligation bonds to authorize the Richland, Lexington, Riverbanks Parks District to issue such bonds and to provide for the publication of notice of the said funding, I believe, rather than finding, but funding and authorization. Entertain a motion.
So move, Mr. Chair. Second.
It's been moved to properly second. Any discussion? You recognize Councilman Weaver?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to say that if this proposal goes forward, and it appears it will, I would hope that my good friend, Mr. Stringfellow, and the other folks at the zoo will consider Councilwoman Barron's suggestion that the property owners in Lexington and Richland who will be paying this tax increase on their taxes will get a day at the zoo. I think that was a very good idea, so I'm hoping that the zoo can incorporate that sometime into their plan for 2024 or 2025, however long it takes to get going. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Aaron, you recognize, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Weaver, the staff at the zoo has done just that. They provided us and they sent us an email just pretty much recapping the services that are already in place, such as free Fridays, the unlimited school trips and the field studies that the students are able to have, year-round $5 general admissions for SNAP benefit individuals, as well as Toucan Tuesdays that benefit Harvest Hope. That's what they already have in place. And then in addition to this, they've also provided us additional I was hoping for a buy one, get one, but, the negotiation is 20% off of general admissions and free parking for those individuals who live in Richland and Lexington County, more free Fridays throughout the year to include the spring and the summer and the fall, and then add select free after 3 p.m. in the afternoons of July and August for residents of Richland and Lexington County. And then the list goes on. There's several other things here, but I think one thing that is really important to highlight is the fact that there will be a committee formed of residents that will have an opportunity to provide input to the staff at the zoo to give them recommendations as to how they move forward with, just assisting them to keep council fully engaged, but as well as an opportunity for the citizens to be engaged. I love the idea. I love the thought. I want to thank the staff at the zoo for really taking in consideration the residents of Richland County, because this is an investment for us, and anything that we invest in, there should be a return, and we see a return here. So thank you so much.
Additional comments? Take.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
No.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Move to reconsider?
Second.
Properly second. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
No.
McBride,
No.
Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
No.
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Item on the agenda is item 15, second reading items. 15A, an ordinance amending the Richland County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, offenses by amending Section 18-4, unsafe and noxious vegetation, so as to establish standards for unsafe and noxious vegetation, to define necessary terms, to provide that the responsible party of the property has a duty to maintain or remove unsafe and noxious vegetation, and amend the cutback requirements for certain property lines to provide a penalty for the failure to maintain or remove unsafe and noxious vegetation, and to remove language allowing a responsible party to request that work be done by the Department of Public Works for the county. I entertain a motion. I'm sorry.
Second?
Was that a motion, Ms. Newton?
Yes. Move to
Okay.
approve.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved to properly second. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next item on the agenda is item 15B, authorizing the expansion of the boundaries of the I-77 Corridor Regional Industrial Park, jointly developed with Fairfield County to include certain property located in Richland County, the execution and delivery of a public infrastructure credit agreement to provide for public infrastructure credits to Earlwood Apartment Rental Properties, LLC, and other related matters. Entertain a motion.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second?
It's been moved to properly second. Any discussion? Being none, Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next item on the agenda is item 16, first reading items. 16A, an ordinance amending the Richland County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 6, Buildings and Building Regulations, so as to codify the 2021 editions of the International Residential Code, the International Building Code, the International Fire Code, the International Plumbing Code, the International Fuel Gas Code, the International Mechanical Code, the International Existing Building Code, the International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, didn't know that was a thing, the International Property Maintenance Code, and the 2009 South Carolina Energy, there we go, we finally get to South Carolina, Conservation Code, and the 2020 National Electric Code. Entertain a motion.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Move to properly second. Any discussion? Being none, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, you recognize Councilman
Thank you,
Weaver.
Mr. Chairman. I do have one question about this. I don't know who's speaking to this.
Probably Mr. Jensen, if he. There he is.
I noticed, reading through this, on page 76, it says, the following administrative requirements are hereby enacted. A licensed swimming pool contractor shall be responsible for securing a permit from the county building official. Is that new? Because when we put our pool in, I don't ever remember us getting a county building official. Maybe my contractor got it. Is that new?
Recognized. Take that pool.
Thank you. ACA Jensen for the record. Yes, your contractor would have done that, yes.
Contractor would have done
Yes.
that. Okay.
Or should have done that.
Should have done that.
Yes.
Let's check his
Yes.
pool. Let's go check his pool, okay?
Just for the record, we have an approved pool. All right. My second question is, it says, in the event of a pool structure, whatever, is not in existence, the property owner shall be responsible to make sure that said structure remains in place as long as the swimming pool exists. So, like, if we wanted to change our fence, take part of the fence down, we can never do that? As long as that pool is there, that fence has to stay up? I'm just curious about that.
Recognized, Mr.
Thank you, ACA Jensen, again for the record. Yes, sir. One of the standards of the International Building Code for many years, as far back as I can remember, even back into the 80s, was that a swimming pool must be completely enclosed with a non-scalable fence. And there are specific criteria as to what that means, but it means effectively it can't be a chain link fence. It has to be a fence that is effectively either solid or straight up and down, where you cannot put more than a 3-inch object through the railings. And so that is what that means. And it has to be, it used to be 4 foot high. In the last 20 years, it's now a 6-foot fence. And you have to have a gate that closes, that is self-latching. So in other words, it's spring-loaded or in some mechanism so that if somebody passes through, it will close behind you. Again, that's to prevent children and, folks who can't swim from and are younger from getting into a pool and falling in.
Question, Council?
That answers it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jensen. All right, is there a motion on the floor? I believe there was discussion, so any additional discussion on this item? Madam Clerk, take the vote, please.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio, Weaver.
Yes, thanks for your patience.
Weaver,
Oh,
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next item on the agenda is 17, report of the Economic Development Committee. That will be given by the Honorable Paul Livingston. Councilman, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, item 17A, a resolution authorizing addition of a survey to fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes and incentive agreement by and between Richland County, South Carolina, the Right-Dos Corporation, and TRC Propo Incorporated. The committee's recommendation for this item is for approval.
Heard the recommendation of the committee. Any questions or discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Brings us item 17B, a resolution approving a sponsored affiliate to join in one or more free agreements between LDE and LLC, Sharp Road Groove 1, LLC, and Richland County, South Carolina, and other matters related thereof. Committee recommendations for approval.
Committee's recommendation. Any questions or discussion? Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item 17C, a resolution committing to negotiate a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes agreement between Richland County and Project Shreds, identifying the project and other matters related thereof. The committee's recommendation for approval.
Recommendation of the committee. Any questions or discussion? Clerk?
Pugh. Yes. McBride. Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey. English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item 17D, authorize execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes and incentive agreement by and between Richland County, South Carolina, Project Shreds to provide for payments of fee in lieu of taxes, authorizing certain infrastructure credits and other related matters. This is the first reading item. The committee's recommendation is for approval.
Heard the recommendation of the committee. Any questions or discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Pugh.
Yes.
McBride.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Chair, that completes the report of the Economic Development Committee.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 18, report of the Rules and Appointments Committee that would be given by the Honorable Gretchen Barron. Ms. Barron, you recognize, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to bring to council's remembrance, we did pass ordinance for us to appoint the First Steps Richland County, the Richland County First Steps Partnership. And so we will appoint moving forward this board as we do with some of our other appointments. And it is the recommendation of the committee to appoint Lee Patterson.
Heard the recommendation of the committee. Questions or discussion? None? Madam Clerk?
Pugh.
Yes.
McBride.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey. English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Our next item is 18B, notification of vacancies. And just for the record, I'll read in these items that we will notify, that will go on notice. Ms. Carrillo, if you could give us the exact dates of that notification, please. And you can get it once I complete, it's fine. And so item A is the Accommodation Committee. We have 4 vacancies. Board of Zoning and Appeals, 1 vacancy. Building Codes of Appeal, 8 vacancies. Business Service Center, 3 vacancies. Central Midlands Regional Transit Authority, 1 vacancy. Hospitality Tax Committee, 3 vacancies. Lexington Richland Alcohol and Drug Abuse Council, LRADAC, 2 vacancies. Richland Memorial Hospital, 4 vacancies. I just want to remind council, if you have individuals within your community or in your district, please encourage them to vote because several of these boards are critically important. They can't meet because we don't have a quorum. And so if you can, please encourage people to volunteer. Those of you who are in the chambers, if you have an interest, please volunteer as well. And so these notice will go out. And Mr. Chair, this is our recommendation for the notice of vacancies.
Thank you, Ms. Barron. You've heard the recommendation of the committee. Any questions or discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
McBride.
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes?
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Aaron, you mentioned something about dates.
Yes.
And you want
Ms.
that on the
Carrillo's-
record?
Yeah, Ms.
Okay.
Carrillo's ready to give us the dates of how long they're going to run, the dates of beginning and end, please.
The vacancies will be published from December the 15th until January 12th. So applicants will be able to submit their application by the end of business day, until the end of business day on January the 12th, 2024.
And all of that is done, you can find the application on the county's website.
Aaron, you still have the
Thank you. Our next item is 18C, items for action. There was a motion that was sent to our committee by Mr. Weaver and Ms. Teratio. I move that council establish written guidelines regarding the number of proclamations and acknowledgement of resolutions that can be presented at a county council meeting. The committee did meet. We do not have a formal recommendation. However, we have asked and request that the council provide us formal guidelines. And so with those formal guidelines, a lot of us, when we have proclamations in the past, the clerk's office will notify the individual who's receiving the proclamation and give certain instructions. That will become our guidance. It will become our rule, not necessarily a written rule, but somewhat of giving us, this is how we do things when it comes to our proclamations. We do not have a recommendation talking numbers or elimination at this time.
Question is for you. Right. Yes. Procedurally, what does this look like, right? As far as this council, do we sort of deliberate amongst ourselves here? Should this work be done at the committee level with the recommendation to then come before full council? And Ms. Barron says there is no recommendation right now, but I'm just trying to sort out in my mind, what, this process would look like far as council fashioning a set of guidelines, if you will, regarding this request.
I think the committee recommendation is to not establish any official rule and just have the clerk to council provide informal guidelines to council. So council wouldn't have to do anything because there's not going to be any official rules. It's just the guidelines provided by the clerk to council is how it will go forward.
Maybe I'm just bad at it's what I'm reading here. That's my interpretation of it was for council, but you're saying that clerk would
Have informal
draft
guidelines.
something.
And that's actually the recommendation of the committee is to not have any official rule.
Oh, that's how it is to be done.
All right.
All right, you've heard the recommendation of the committee. I'm sorry, Ms. Barron.
Mr. Chair, just to further give some explanation, and that is that, so essentially what's happening is we're going to continue to do what we've been doing in the past. That's exactly what we're doing. But the only missing piece is that the clerk, the council's office, has been pretty much monitoring and telling the individuals involved what to do. So now she's going to have an informal process that will be shared with us so that we'll know what's being said to the individuals who are brought into the chamber.
Right.
That's a recommendation coming from the committee that the council will have to take action upon. So that's not a given at this point.
Correct.
I'm wondering if, Mr. Weaver, are you, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely, Ms. Barron.
Mr. Weaver, are you satisfied with that recommendation that the committee has presented?
I recognize, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yes, absolutely, Mr. McBride. Thank you. I have full faith in the clerk to put some kind of written guidelines. And again, they can be guidelines. They're not necessarily rules. Council can outweigh that at any time. But it does help, especially for those of us who are a little newer on the bench, to know what the guidelines are. And I think if we just have that in writing as suggestions, guidelines, whatever, I think that would help.
I still has the floor, then I'll come to you.
So
Mr.
the answer is yes. Thank you.
Okay, well, Mr. Weaver, this is new to old council members too, because we've never had this number of proclamations coming through. So I would like to, we will study and see observe how well that not having any specific rules go, and then we would have the opportunity to come back if we're still not pleased with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm sort of along with the chair right now. When I read this motion, that's not what the motion says to me. And so, and then I just want to make a comment. Since my colleagues have brought it to our attention that we have too many proclamations, we haven't had that many. So I think a good communication amongst each other, we can take care of this.
Yeah.
Everybody, we were doing so well. I kept, quiet during the zoo discussion, and here we are about proclamations. So if I behave myself tonight,
Mr.
can I
Chair,
get some reciprocity here?
Mr. Chair,
You're recognized, Ms. McBride.
I agree with you.
Thank you. It's probably going to pass anyway, so any additional discussion? Madam Clerk, take the vote, please.
Pugh,
No.
McBride,
No.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
No.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes, presuming that means accepting the committee's recommendation.
Correct. Yes. Motion approved.
All right. Aaron?
That concludes my report. Thank you so much.
Ms. Barron, any items need to be reconsidered? I'm not sure. So anything needs to be reconsidered, or are you
no.
good?
No, I'm good.
All right. Next item on the agenda is item 19, report of the Community Impact Grants Committee. That would be given by the Honorable Jessica Mackey. Madam Vice Chair, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In your packet on page 135 through 151, council will see an updated community impact grant application for the fiscal year 2024-2025. The committee met and made updates to the applications that you'll see listed on the notes page. And then you'll also, ask you to make sure you take note on page 136, the timeline for the grant application. So this will be our second year for the Community Impact Grant application. Our first year, as you remember, because of our first year, we kind of started a little bit off schedule. So now with this application, our goal is to start where we will align with the budget. And so applications will open January 1st and close February 4th in this proposed application, so that we will have, the committee will have a recommendation for awards coinciding with our budget approval.
Heard the recommendation of the committee. Any discussion? You recognize, Ms. Newton?
Thank you. I do have a question, and I don't see where it is in the application, but it was just specifically about the community partners. And I believe that in this package, what the application says is that they would be community partners for 3 years. And I know that we discussed timeframes. Personally, I'd recommend that we look at a 2-year grant period instead of a 3-year grant period, because it's consuming potentially 60% of our budget. I do understand that sometimes there are multi-year grants, but I'll wait for any further discussion before I make an amendment to that recommendation.
So not an amendment, just a suggestion.
Well, it's a suggestion right now till everybody talks, and it'll end in a motion. I don't want to cut anybody off.
Additional discussion? Recognize, Ms.
28th. So that means that June 24th, these will not be awarded for June 24th. This one has.
Sorry, yeah, that's a typo. I see where you're at right now.
Okay.
Yes.
So the grant award
Award
notification
notification
is
should be.
actually June 28th, 2024.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Additional discussion? Recognize, Ms. Newton?
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I move, and I can't find a specific line, I apologize, that we replace where community partners receive the grants for 3 years with 2 years.
Second.
Second.
Properly second. Discussion.
Mr. Chair, is that also with the amendment of the 2024 instead of 2025 award notification time?
Up to,
Absolutely, I wasn't sure if a typo required that, but yes, I
I
accept
wasn't
that.
sure if it was type. Mr. Livingston?
If it's a
That ought to
typo.
be part of the motion.
Right?
I'm just saying that you have to make sure that it's the correct date that's on there.
Let's just err on the side of caution.
I
But I
accept
don't
that.
agree with the motion, so I don't think
Right.
we ought to be together.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to vote on, the amendment to the motion is 2 years rather than 3.
Yes.
And so then we're going to circle back and vote separately on
Looks like it.
another amendment. And so procedurally, Mr. Wright, is that proper, or are we putting ourselves in a pickle here?
No, if you want to take it separately, you can.
All right. So, Mr. McBride, you recognize?
I have a question. I don't know if anyone
I got
can answer it. So once we fund these grants, how can the community access the services being provided? Will there be some type of resource manual saying that these services are available to Richland County constituents and you can contact this person? So is there a way for the community, in other words, to be able to know about the services and access them?
Is that, staff?
I can attempt to address that question, but because you would be awarding thank you, Mr. Chair, I apologize.
You're fine.
What you would be asking for is really the grantee that receives that to provide that information to the council, to the county, and then we can certainly share it. But that's not like a specific requirement that is listed in any of the forms that we have. So we can ask that they provide the access to that information, and that we are more than willing to share it. But we would not be able to say that we could compile that information on behalf of the agencies that would be awarded the funding. We would depend on them to provide it to us, and then we could share it.
Right. Said.
Yeah, one of my major concerns is that we often have these grants out here and that the people that need them most are not aware of them and they do not know how to access the services. So if there is a way that we could look at trying to improve that process so that we can ensure we get maximize the use of the resources that we are paying for.
Question. Item. Clerk, take the vote.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
No.
Livingston,
I'm voting on a 3-year vote.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
No?
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
No.
English,
No.
Newton,
Yes.
motion fails.
Back to the original motion, and Racio has her up, and she's been patiently counsel. Give me, you're recognized. Now, Mr. Racio, I just said you were.
Hi, sorry. I'm sorry. My hand was up for the original, for the 2-year cycle part. I just had a question for the maker of the motion as to why the 2 years rather than 3. I could make a guess, but just wanted to see if she would be willing to share her thoughts about that.
Has it failed? I'd be happy to call you later and tell you.
That'd be great.
I think you should move at this point, Mr. Racio.
Yes, that was all. That was all that I had my hand up for. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Mr. So we're back to the original motion, and I believe someone mentioned a separate amendment. So
Move to, Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
yes, you're recognized.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the application to change the grant award notification to June 28th, 2024.
Second. Properly seconding discussion. There being none, Madam Clerk, take the vote, please.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
No.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, so based upon the application and packet and the motion that was just made to amend the date, the committee is recommending approval of the full application pack. That motion was just,
Yeah, I think that what
Vote
you
on the
just did was
full
just for the
package.
date, because
Yes.
you didn't
take,
move to vote for the entire thing. You
Correct.
just voted to change the date.
Doesn't require a motion.
Right.
Discussion or question? None. Madam Clerk, take the vote, please.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride,
No.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes?
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes?
Motion approved.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, that concludes the report for the Community Impact Grant Committee.
Your next item on the agenda is item 20, report of the Coronavirus Ad Hoc Committee. That will be given by the Honorable Gretchen Barron. Councilwoman, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our committee does not have a report as we were unable to meet because we did not have a quorum.
Item on the agenda.
Mr. Chair.
Item,
I apologize for the interruption.
recognize Mr.
Related to the previous item for consideration, in order for us to have a timeline of January 1, we need that item to be reconsidered to open
Move
those
to
grants.
reconsider.
Second?
Item 19A for the record. All right, it's been moved to properly second. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
No.
McBride, Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No?
Walker,
No.
Mackey,
No?
English,
No.
Newton.
No?
Motion fails.
Item on the agenda is item 21, other items. Ms. Newton?
Mr. Chair, move to
recognize.
approve items 21A and B.
Second?
Properly second. Clerk?
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride, Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes?
Motion approved.
Move for reconsideration, sir?
Second?
Properly second. Discussion. None, Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
No.
McBride, Livingston, Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No?
Walker,
No.
Mackey,
No?
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Item on the agenda is item 22, executive session, which takes us back to items 7A and B on the agenda. I entertain a motion for executive session.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second?
Been moved to properly second. Any discussion? There being none, I would if I could. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride, Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes?
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes?
Motion approved.
Executive session.
We're going into executive session. That's the only reason.
Okay, entertain a motion, come out of executive session.
Move, Mr. Chair.
Second?
Move to properly second. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride. Yes. Livingston. Yes. Teratio. Weaver,
Yes.
Barron. Yes. Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Record reflect that council went into executive session with respect to items 7A and 7B pursuant to South Carolina Code 30-4-70A1. We received information regarding those two items and no action was taken.
Mr. Chair,
You recognize, Madam Vice Chair.
thank you. I'd like to make a motion to have the chair and vice chair move forward with the county administrator and clerk to council performance evaluation as discussed in executive session.
Second?
Properly second. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Pugh,
Yes.
McBride. Yes. Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio. Weaver.
Yes.
Thank you. Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes?
English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next item on the agenda is item 23, motion period. It's a motion by it's been authored rather by the Honorable Jessica Mackey. Madam Vice Chair, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I submitted a motion stating that I move the county administrator work in collaboration with the Office of Economic Development, Office of Small Business Opportunities, Community Development, and Grants to identify and/or create policies and initiatives to increase access to affordable, quality child care in Richland County. Mr. Chair, I believe this is a good workforce development issue as the county continues to grow and would like to see the administrator
So, and just as a point of order, Mr. Wright, in order for us to take this up tonight, we would certainly have to vote to be able to take it up. And then if we want to vote on the merits, if you will, then that's a second vote, right?
Correct.
All right, this time, well, the motion's on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Newton, you look puzzled, so you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. I was reading something in my packet. So we're not sending this to a committee?
Well, it could go to committee, depending on how this vote goes. If the vote is not unanimous, then it will go to a committee. But if it is unanimous, then we'll vote on the merits tonight.
And if it passes, what happens tonight?
I'll say, my intent was for it to go to a committee, so I don't have any necessary action but for it to go to a committee to provide further discussion and direction for the administrator.
Okay.
But
Well,
That doesn't require a vote. The chair can
right,
send
I
it
understand it's a required vote. I wasn't sure if we wanted to take it up tonight or we wanted to go to committee. So Ms. Mackey, the author of the motion, made it clear she'd rather go to committee. Is there a specific committee, Ms. Mackey, you would rather see this go to, or you just want to defer to my judgment on this one? Yeah, well. But if you wish to.
I withdraw the second.
All right. Well, I am going to, let's send it to the, not economic development. Let's just send it to DNS. No, actually, no, let's send it to ANF. I'd rather send it to ANF.
You don't have any more left?
Yeah, let's send it to ANF. Well, I mean, work with economic development, work with small business, work with community development grants. So I would just, no, I'd rather just send it to ANF. Send it to ANF committee. All right, next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
second?
That is non-debatable. Madam Clerk?
Pugh,
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Madam Clerk, go ahead.
McBride. Yes. Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes,
Mackey.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
we are adjourned.